Okay, cool. I don't know if it's better for me for the recording to have this in kind of the Brady Bunch view or the speaker view. I like being able to personally see the gallery, but I think for people to watch the recording, it's better to have it in speaker view. Okay, so I mean, I have it in speaker view now, and all I can see is Ashley, but I'm assuming like the recording will pick up like whoever's talking. Let me see if I can expand this a sec. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the 6 human needs. Has anybody heard of the 6 human needs in school, or maybe you've listened to a Tony Robbins podcast? So these are 6 human needs that they are not wants, they are not desires, they are primary needs that every human has. The only difference is which needs we individually value more than others. Typically, everyone has 2 human needs that they value over all the others. And it is the greatest force in our life that dictates our lives, dictates our actions, dictates the results in our lives, dictates who we bring into our lives. So these 6 human needs are something that I've been studying for probably almost 7 years now, because I know that these are, once you start to see these and you learn more about them, you start to see these patterns in yourself, and you can identify why you're taking certain patterns, why you're taking certain actions, why you're not taking certain actions. And you can start to really identify it in other people too. You can meet somebody after you've really kind of learned these 6 human needs, and you can almost immediately, after maybe 5 minutes of a conversation with them, you can identify what their 2 primary needs are that are driving their life. So there's the 4 primary needs that every human is going to find a way to hit these 4 human needs. And it's not always the most beneficial or most positive way, but every human is going to find a way to hit all 4 of these first primary needs. So think of it like a target. And you guys, we talked, it's kind of similar in a way to what we did with the Atomic Habits. But think of it as like a target, and like the outermost needs, if those are what you're going for, you tend to lack fulfillment in your life. As you get closer and closer to the 5th and 6th need, which most people never get to, but as you design your life and your patterns to get closer to that 5th and 6th, fulfillment becomes something that shows up more in your life. So let's start with the 2 kind of outer primary needs. The first is certainty. That's the first of the 6 needs. And people find certainty in all types of ways. And some people get stuck on certainty. If you come from a house where you didn't have a lot of certainty in your life, you didn't know how certain people in your life were going to react emotionally, you didn't know what kind of energy was going to show up every night when your parents came home, you didn't know where your next meal was going to come from, you didn't know how your friends were going to, all that stuff is a lack of certainty. But if you as a kid had certainty in your life, you had safety and security, or you found ways to find that, then you can start to move on to the second need, which is the first and second needs are very paradoxical. The second need is uncertainty or variety. And again, like these first 4 needs, every human is going to find a way to meet these needs. It's just a matter of how they do that and which ones they value more. So think about how these first 2 needs are very opposite of each other. So you're always going to be trying to look for those 2, the certainty and the uncertainty, that variety. But a lot of people get stuck on just certainty because they're constantly feeling like something's going to get taken away from them, or they don't feel safe. So uncertainty to them is scary. They don't want very much uncertainty. You know, they value certainty much more. Does that make sense? So in a relationship, you know, this shows up a lot in relationships where you want certainty in a relationship, right? In the beginning, you want to know, like, okay, I feel safe in this relationship. There's a lot of certainty about, I know, you know, they're a good person. They're going to be there. And then as you start to feel that certainty and safety, after a while, you're like, okay, I want to do new things with my partner. I want to go, try new things with them. And so you want that variety, that uncertainty. And, you know, this is where these two paradoxical, these forces kind of like have this juxtaposition in relationship and business, in our life, in our hobbies. But you're going to find a way to fill those needs. So for some people, if they want uncertainty, they reach for a cigarette. You know, they reach for drugs and you know, whatever they need to fill that need, they're going to find a way. So, you know, those are the first two. The second, then the next two, the third being significance. So once you feel like you have a certain level of certainty being met and you have some variety in your life, then you have this feeling of, I want to feel unique, special, important. And who wants to feel unique, special, and important? Everybody, every human on the planet. You know, some people, the way they find their significance or their specialness or their important or uniqueness is they say, I don't need to be special. I don't need to be unique. You know, that's their way of finding uniqueness. They're like, I'm different than everybody else. I don't need to be unique. That's their way they're filling that need. So that's the third way. You know, and probably, unfortunately, the main way throughout history of humans, the way we've, especially men, have filled that need for significance is violence. Because let's say someone comes up to you and they pull a gun, and you're sitting in your car and they pull a gun on you. That person that pulls the gun, maybe they come from a tough background, a tough neighborhood, a tough home. They don't feel any certainty in their life. They don't feel any significance. As soon as they pull a gun on somebody, immediately they have significance, like that. So this is a way that people start to meet their human needs. And, you know, that's also, they're meeting uncertainty. They also have certainty that they're in control at this point. So they're hitting all three needs. And one of the things about these needs is, if you find something that is consistently hitting and meeting two of those human needs, it is going to become an addiction. A bad one or a good one doesn't, you know, you can have good addictions, things you're addicted to that you love. But if you find something that's consistently meeting two needs, that becomes something that you're drawn to and going to come back to. That goes with other humans. If you have other humans in your life that consistently are meeting two or more of your needs, you're going to be drawn to that person. So think about that as being body partners. If we are able to meet two or more of someone else's needs, they're going to be drawn to us because we're, you know, they're not able to meet those needs other places, maybe a little bit, but if we're able to help them meet some of these needs in other places, in our challenge groups and our relationships with them, you know, they're going to be coming back to us to be able to continue to fill those needs. So that is significance. And again, like, there's so many great ways to fill these needs, each of these needs, but there's also some really not so beneficial ways that people meet these needs. But everybody is going to meet these 4 needs in some way. The 4th one is love and connection. Or you could even think of it as connection and love. So some people, they settle for connection because they're afraid of fully going in for and having that unconditional love for somebody else. So that 4th need is a lot of times love, or you kind of settle for connection. But every human's going to find a way to meet that 4th need, that some type of connection and love. And again, think about that example of like somebody pulling a gun on you. That person in that moment, how connected is their life and yours? On a scale of 1 to 10, how connected in that moment is it? It's a 10 out of 10. You guys, there's nowhere else you guys can think about except the connection rate that's happening. Not a great one, but I'm just showing you an example of how people get addicted to certain things that aren't so great. It's because it's meeting at least 2 or more of their needs. So these are the 4, what we call the primary needs. And every single human is going to find a way to hit all 4 of these needs. But the question is, which of these needs do you value the most? If you're somebody that has had, tough relationships in the past, and, you just never could trust your partner, then you're typically not going to be valuing the need of uncertainty as much as you are the need for certainty. If you've, tried diets in the past, or you've tried workout programs in the past, there's this lack of certainty that this next thing is going to work for you. So this is a need that as partners, we get to help our people meet, give them a bit of certainty. The cool thing about being a body partner is I've found that it fills all 6 needs, which is probably why I'm addicted to it, which is why I got addicted to it when I got introduced to it, because some of the 6 needs were not being met for me personally. And when I got introduced to Beachbody and the coaching opportunity, all of a sudden, some of these needs that weren't being met for me, I didn't realize it at the time, but all of a sudden this vehicle came into my life that I was meeting some of the needs that were very important to me, that I valued a lot, that I wasn't getting met in my corporate life. So again, the 4 primary human needs that everybody's going to hit is certainty, uncertainty or variety, and then you have significance, feeling unique, special, and then you have love and contribution. Then you have the middle target, which is the 2 needs of the spirit, is what Tony Robbins calls them. These are, not like in a religious way or anything, but just like the 2 kind of like our soul, our spirit, like our highest self, like is drawn to these 2. And I'll tell you that probably 90 or 95% of humans never get these 2 needs met because they're so focused on getting those first 4 needs met. Those first 4 needs are not being met for them. So it's very hard for them to move on to these center needs, which the first of the 2 needs is growth. And the second is contribution. So that's the 5th and the 6th. Growth and contribution. You can see where when we get introduced to becoming a partner, part of the very first thing I was told when I signed up as a Beachbody coach, as a body partner, was personal development is going to be your key to success. Up until that point in my corporate career, that wasn't really something that was talked about, professional growth, personal growth. And the first book that I picked up, The Slight Edge, I started reading it and I was immediately just sucked into it and drawn into it because I was meeting that need that I didn't even realize that I was starving for, which was growth. I started hitting a need that was probably one of my most valued for me personally. As I started to feed that need and hit that need, it became something that I just fell in love with. Then the next, that kind of very center of the bullseye, sixth need was contribution. Why is contribution so powerful? It's because we can only feel so much as a person. We can be hitting those first 5 needs of certainty, uncertainty, feeling significant, feeling love, feeling like we're growing. But that sixth and that center bullseye of contribution allows us to feel certain things with other people. It allows us to watch them grow and share. Why do we like going to concerts with people? Or why do we like going on a roller coaster with someone else? It's fun going on a roller coaster with yourself, but when you can share that with somebody else and you get to experience that together, that contribution is so much more fun than just feeling something and learning something and growing just on your own. So that's the kind of the fifth and the sixth. Growth, that one, I would guess less than 90, I would say like 90% of people, probably 95% of people aren't growing. And it's a harsh thing to think about, but there's no such thing as like a stable business. There's no such thing as like a stable, I don't want to say that, like a stable relationship. Like if your relationship is just staying the same, or your business is just staying the same and not truly growing, then it's kind of dying in a way. If you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not growing, you're going backwards in a lot of ways. You can't just like hit the cruise button and like not continue to personally grow, not to try to cultivate and grow in your relationship with each other, not to continuously try to grow your business. If you're not doing those things, slowly it's kind of going the opposite way. So that's why that growth and contribution are so important for us as body partners. Again, we're all going to find ways to meet those first 4 needs. Not many people are ever going to reach the 5th and 6th of growth and contribution. But I think most people don't even realize, which of these they value the most. Because the 2 of those 6 needs, the 2 that you value most, subconsciously or consciously, is going to be the greatest driving force in your life. So think about that for just like 30 seconds. Which 2 needs, when maybe not when you're in your best mood, like when things aren't going well, or you're struggling, or there's things are getting stirred up in your life, what are the 2 needs that you reach for the most, that are most valuable to you? Is it certainty? Is it uncertainty? Is it need for significance? Is it love and connection? Because when we slide back into those 2 primary needs, and those become kind of the driving force in our life, that's something to become conscious of, but most of the time we're not. So I'm going to ask just a couple little questions as like kind of a exercise here. So think about in what ways you meet the need for certainty in your life, in your relationships, in your business, with your mind, with your body, with your hobbies. Ways that you meet certainty positively, negatively. And then think about some of the ways you meet that need for variety, being the spice of life. You know, I think about my workout routine and my nutrition and my personal development. And I love the certainty of the routine, of knowing that I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get my PD in, I'm going to get my workout in, I'm going to eat like a really good meal to start the day. I love the certainty of knowing that. I also love the variety of having a bunch of different trainers that I'm working out with, like the Body Block. Body Blocks, I love the certainty that they always start the first Monday of every month. I love the certainty that they're going to be 3 weeks of busting my ass and then a 4th week of being able to kind of rest and recover. But I love the variety of working out with a different trainer every day of the week. So right there, boom, you know, that's something that the Body Blocks are meeting 2 of our needs when it comes to our workout routine. Personal development, you know, the certainty of knowing that I'm going to be doing some kind of personal development each day, but the variety of reading different books, listening to the different best-selling authors that Body's putting up with their monthly masterclasses. Significance, feeling special, unique, important. How do you guys meet that need? And then love and connection. How do you meet that human need for love and connection? Steve Wynn, I don't know if you guys have heard of Steve Wynn. He's a multi-billionaire. He owns a bunch of the Wynn hotels in Vegas and all over the world. And he said that significance was how he was able to build his empire. Not his own need for significance, but his ability to fill other people's need for significance. You know, in 2008, when everything was kind of hitting the fan financially, the banks and everything, all of the hotels, all the most expensive hotels were cutting costs. And Steve Wynn decided, this is my time to really be able to go to the next level with offering even more opportunities for, you know, the ultra rich. And he made them feel like they were very significant because they would come to his hotel and he rolled out the red carpet and did everything to make them feel like a king or a queen. So, you know, that's the way he was able as a business owner to meet the needs of his clients, of his niche, of his target market. So, and then the 4th one, love and connection. So now that we kind of covered those first 4 primary needs, most humans are going to have 2 that are their most valuable to them, which are going to be the driving force in their life. If you come across somebody, or you know that when you get in a bad place, or you're struggling with anxiety or stress or something, and you naturally go into needing the need for certainty and significance, that's going to be a tough way to, you know, to go through life. if you're constantly looking for certainty, you're not going to be willing to take risks. You're not going to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. So if you're constantly getting hit with stress and anxiety, or our clients or the people we're talking to are constantly getting hit with stress and anxiety, and it's bringing them into this need for certainty, it's hard for them to shift gears into growth and contribution. It's hard to start just falling in love with that growth and contributing to others when we're so focused on that need, that very first primary need of survival, of certainty. So that's just a question for you guys. What are the two primary needs that you guys, of those first four, that are most valuable to you, that you tend to kind of shift into? You're going to start to become like a practical psychologist with your clients and your partners. You're going to be able to tell which of these needs is really the driving forces in their life. And again, like once they find something that really is meeting at least two of these needs, they're gonna become hooked on it. And I have, with the workouts, with my morning routine, and being able to be in a setting where growth and contribution is kind of like one of our main focuses as coaches is pretty special. I don't think there's many things out there like that. Okay, so we talked about that one. Once you've kind of honed in on those two needs that you kind of become your two most valued, what are the consequences of valuing those needs over some of the others? And then the last two questions, and we'll wrap this up. What do your top two needs need to be now for your life to transform, for your relationship to transform, for your business to transform, for your personal growth to transform, for your health, your body, your mind, your wellness, your business, your relationships, all of it, your life? What are the top two needs need to be now for your life to transform? And then 6, the last one, if you made that change, what would transform in your life? So what are the top two needs need to be now for your life to transform? And then if you did make that change and you consistently were making those two needs your primary needs, what would transform in your relationships? Just in your own self-esteem, your own peace of mind, in your business? How would that impact and transform the people that you work with, your customers, your clients, your partners? How would that transform not only your life, but the people that you care about most? All right, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this little 30-minute lunch and learn. And I hope you guys become practical psychologists and start to fall in love and look at this stuff a little bit more than you did before. Because these 6 human needs are something that I come back to all the time. And I always make sure that if I'm not focused on those primary 2 that I want to be focused on, I shift my actions and my energy to get back to those 2. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your lunch, and we will see you next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. See you guys.